Greetings everyone, welcome to this story of cultural diversity set in Florencia in the department of Caquetá, South Colombia. In this video you will see and listen to a particular process of cultural diversity in a globalizing age that has been taking place in Florencia, which involves some of the core concepts worked out throughout this course of education and multicultural societies. Nonetheless, unlike the situation described in the module book regarding contexts near the Amazon region, this situation, which actually takes place in a context near the area, has different protagonists. However, the same cultural concepts occur and manifest, such as interculturality, multiculturality, pluriculturality, transculturality, and even notions of citizenship and civic education practice, which fake jugglerists bring out in their book Theory and Practice of Citizenship Education. They are all present in this context. Let's start with a more detailed description of the setting in which this cultural diversity converges. This video shows how a program and the agreement of Florencia's Education Secretariat with a private institution has caused a meaningful involvement and coexistence of different cultures in a region that has sadly been overshadowed in the country. Back in 2016, a private institution called ANS started a program that brought native English-speaking teachers and foreign teachers whose mother tongue was neither English nor Spanish, aiming to improve the quality of education of English teaching and learning in the region. This program created a chain reaction of other language academies doing the same. This was a novelty in the region back then because it hadn't been seen nor applied before. Accordingly, some years later, this called the attention of Florencia's Education Secretariat that began to create agreements with these institutions so that both schools could have the chance to have intercultural exchanges with people, in this case, teachers from other nationalities and cultures, with local students, who at the same time have a wide variety of heritage from the department of Caquetá and the Amazon region itself. Consequently, this integration of teachers and students from different cultures naturally created a cultural phenomena that resulted in this communication of relationships. Interestingly, the ongoing program brings up outcomes that can be out of the colonial view that some may naturally expect from these cultural exchanges. As this video will explain, we have brought some examples of how concepts like interculturality, multiculturality, pluriculturality, transculturality, and even citizenship concepts such as critical democratic citizenship have converged and taken place during recent years in Florencia. So let's go and see.
Hi, my name is Oscar Carreño, and today I will talk about interculturality and multiculturality and how these concepts are related to the context we choose. In this case, interculturality is a concept that has been defined from many perspectives, but initially it's been defined as the relationship between cultures. But it is also said that is the interaction between different cultures with mutual understanding and respect. The idea is to lead people to promote cultural exchange that focuses on pluralism and respect for diversity. Finally, it can be also said that in education, it has been defined as an approach that emphasizes in equity and social justice, where this type of education, intercultural education, encourages students to critically engage with different cultures. We can see this in this photograph in which students are sharing with a foreign teacher, and the foreign teacher is not imposing her culture, but instead of that is listening to the students and sharing experiences to enrich what to enrich their beliefs and know different perspectives about the world. Interculturality has been also seen from a decolonial perspective. In this perspective, it is like a critical response to the legacy of colonialism, the idea of this concept of interculturality, or this perspective, is to decolonize what we thought about how dominant cultures look down on other cultures. So we can see this in this photograph where the foreign teacher is speaking in English and she also speaks in Spanish, and the student is speaking in Spanish. So both are practicing the language that they don't know. So in this case, is a clear case of interculturality. Now let's talk about multiculturality. It is defined as um, basically it is like the existence of cultures in one setting. Uh, of course, it is said that it has to emphasize on lead multiculturality to interculturality. So that's why Poach states that there is a division between cultures that coexist in a territory or converge in a single dimension. And we can see this in the following photographs. You can see, for example, in this picture that it is only shared the Colombian culture, but the culture of the person in blue, who is British, is not sharing his culture. This person is just knowing another culture, but he is not sharing his culture. In this picture, also, we can say how foreign teachers are checking or knowing the Colombian culture, but they are not sharing theirs. In this picture, also, we can see how the person is happy with others, but the foreign person is not sharing his culture, her culture in this case. She is only observing and knowing the Colombian and dominant culture in this case. Uh, this has been the analysis of interculturality and multiculturality from the context we choose. Thank you so much.
Well, now in the political concept, it is important to be reminded the coexistence of various cultures without having a significant or a perfect relationship or connection. In this picture where Andy and James, our Australian educational or cultural participants, they are next to the educational secretary, this lady, and the institutional principal, this her. However, they just share the protocolary affairs, or in other words, they didn't have that cultural exchange or that expected interconnection maybe. Those Colombian members, the lady and the sir, didn't speak English, so they just asked to translate important messages maybe in order to communicate some information to Andy and James. However, their relationship was only used in a formal or a really needed context. On the other hand, the transculturality process implies that perfect and also expected relationship and union between those different cultures, where there won't exist stereotypes or prejudices that can disrupt the reciprocity. This previous concept is a clear example presented in these pictures where we have James and Manu. They were absolutely immersed in the Colombian culture, participating not only in this cultural exchange program, but also in our daily practices, such as the typical means of transportation in Colombia. A clear example would be mototaxi. James used a mototaxi, and it was a hilarious experience. Or having or creating a deep and personal relationship. It was Manun's case, because she started a relationship with a Caqueteño lawyer. Nowadays they are really happy. So that is the principal object, the principal idea of transculturality, to build and to have those really important relationship, or those meaningful relationship between the different cultures, but also having like this important bridge. So that is the principal idea of the transculturality, the expected one and the perfect one, in other words.